All right, ladies, I'm going to get you just to come across to a bit of wall space. You can use the back of your sofa to warm up the back of our legs. So opening up the calves and the hamstrings before we start. Roll up and down through your foot as well. So we press the heel down, come up, press the heel down, press the heel down. If you have got a wall, great, because we can push our hands into the wall as well. As you press the heel down this time, push the wall away from you and start to breathe out, activating your pelvic floor through lower belly up towards your tummy button. Pressing down through the heel and slide the shoulders into the back of the socket. So if they start to creep up, we roll them back, slide them down. Imagine you're attaching your little fishing weights onto the base of your shoulder blades, like that. And then come up into the ball of the foot, shuffle the foot back, take the front foot closer to the wall, draw yourself down into a lunge so we get the hip flexors and the quadriceps. Maybe walk fingertips up the wall if that feels comfortable. Maybe you can take your fingers off the wall. Shoulder slides down, press the heel back. Nice deep full breath in, expanding the ribs out to the side on that breath in. Sighing out, drop down a little bit further. Fabulous, just doing that on the other side. So swapping feet, pressing down through the heel, pressing down through the heel, a couple of dynamic movements, getting a massage across the sole of the foot, opening up the calf, and then pressing down, opening up into the belly of the calf muscle. Hands here, shoulders down, pressing into the wall, starting to activate deep core muscles here. So when we create this circuit, this chain of pressure, we also connect through core. Pressing, breathing. That's the way. And then shuffle the foot back, come up onto the ball of the foot, slowly come forward into the hip flexors. And we'll come off the wall in just a moment, giving ourselves an opening through the front line of the body. That's the way. And then lateral stretch. So feet close to the wall, you're pressing down through that outside foot. Slide your hand up, push the hip out, and take the top hand. I'll come back so you can see my hand. Top hand onto the wall, coming into a crescent moon shape. So other hand can just create a bit of stability there. Lateral stretch. Now get your breath here. Flaring the ribs. Press the hip out. Let's just move the head as well. Looking up, looking down, looking up, looking down. Now before we do this on the other side, bend the knees, come back into the center. So we bend the knees to come out of something. Step the foot closest to the wall inwards, so the little toe edge is against the wall. Press the knee into the wall. Take your hand closest to the wall slightly back. Bend the elbow. And then all you need to do is breathe deeply as if you're pulling all of the breath into this. This is my left side, left lung. Morning, Ruth. Gently drawing down. Start to turn the head a little bit until you can feel the stretch into these pectoral muscles and you can feel this opening through the intercostal muscles between the ribs. Okay, so it's a slight bend, bending in towards the wall with that knee. And maybe turning the head. Hand down. Let's just drop that shoulder into the back of the socket. Do that on the other side. So first of all, feet close to the wall. Outside foot pushing down, stretching out with that outside hand, dropping in towards the wall. I just use the bottom hand to support me here, creating that lovely crescent shape. Take particular attention to the back of your lungs here. We're going to do some strengthening. I just want you to mobilize and create space for your breathing to start. Okay, bend the knees, slowly come down. Tummy always goes into spine as you bend the knees, transitioning, taking the foot closest to the wall, in little toe edge there, knee drops into the wall, hand closest to the wall behind you, elbow bent, and then it's just It might be that your head stays forward. It might be that you turn the head a little bit. We don't push, we kind of allow the stretch. Most of us have shoulders dropping forward into the front of the sockets. This allows us to stretch the pectoral muscles so we can land the arm into the back of the socket. Oh, that's good. All right, slowly take that down. Let's just see how that feels. Better. Come onto your mat. Swirl your pelvis around. Let's get into the hips. Massage the pelvis around. Take the hands out, thumbs up, little fingers down. Now imagine you have an orange between your shoulder blades and you're just holding the orange there. So a little bit of activation through the rhomboids, upper back muscles here, but don't let this happen. Slide the shoulders right down your back. You've got those fishing weights at the base of your shoulder blades, helping them to stay down. One direction, other direction now, hands maybe a little bit higher. Big swirling action. That's the way. Good. And then take yourself into a switch. We want to open up the thoracic spine, mid-back area, fingers wide. This just kind of wakes up the whole central nervous system as well. And we'll take it into that discus throwing stretch. So throw the discus, stretch the whole body, a little bit of a back bend, breathing in, breathing out. Throw the discus, give yourself a lovely front body stretch, breathe out. In, out. Make a bit of noise as you breathe out. Ha, ha. Through the mouth, ha, on the breath out. Through the nose on the breath in. Ha, 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 ha. Good. Weight on one leg, up onto the other toes, opening up the rotator muscles. Give yourself a little Elvis twist. I always like to take the hands in the opposite direction, just toning the waist as well, like so. Just warm up the joints, warm up these key muscles, and then other side. So weight is in your standing heel, not in your toes. Just make sure that your weight is back, your bum is back. Good. Alrighty, feet parallel, toes spread. Just give yourself a deep breath in and then out. And in and then out. And start to bend the knees a little bit more, weight in the heels as we just open up those lungs a bit more. Good. Lift and roll one shoulder. Lift and roll the other shoulder. Hands out in front of you. Imagine you have a ball in your hands. You've got a hoop just above you. You're going to be throwing the ball into the hoop. So drop down into your ball throwing stance. Now just checking in. Behind is behind you. Base of the ribcage is drawn in. Back is pretty straight. Imagine you have a kangaroo tail. So it's long and heavy and it's dropping back and down. You can see my weight is in my heels as opposed to here, weight's in my toes, right back. So we start here. If we were here, it would be called Utkatasana. But we're pretending we've got our ball in our hands. On a breath out, we push the floor away. That's the action. So we go up through the backside into your bum muscles, hands up, take that chain of activation through to the torso, drop down, pause, push the floor away, slowly come up. So if you have hand weights, this is quite a good time to use them, pushing upwards, dropping down, breathing out. Make sure the weight stays in the heel. Keep that kangaroo tail weighting you back and down. Good. Shoulders sliding down your back. Activating right up. Imagine your tummy button as you come up is sliding upwards. Sliding upwards. You've got those tight high-waisted jeans on. You're coming up, zipping up, releasing down. Good. The next three, slow, 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 slow. Pause, release your pelvic floor. Slowly come down. Push the floor away, slow, slow. Breathing out, breathing out, breathing out. Relax your pelvic floor. And again. And relax the pelvic floor. So weight in the heels again, bum activated. Stand in your Tadasana, face of the ribcage back, weight is in the heels, bum is behind you, shoulders sliding into the back of the sockets, head sitting right on top of your neck, so chin drawn in. All the weight's on your left leg, so squeeze thigh muscles into thigh bone, and then take your right foot out behind you. Hands can be here for balance or here. If you just try this actually, press your hands together and notice how this switches on when you do this. And then little picking up action. Make sure that standing knee is slightly bent. Little picking up action. See if you can keep your foot just up off the ground. So just toenail, big toenail touching the ground. Shoulders down, crown of the head is lifting. Standing leg slightly bent. So we're getting into gluteus medius here. Good. Now take your foot behind you. Now we'll take arms out, shoulders down. And oh, I need to turn this way. Little picking up action. So foot straight behind. Now leaning slightly forward. Keep the weight in the standing foot heel though, not through the toes. Little picking up action, shoulders down, back is activated. Fabulous. Come back, turning that foot out to the side. So I've got little weights around my ankles here. Getting into the adductor muscles, so your torso stays nice and tall every time you breathe out. 4, lifting up. Imagine you're lifting your tummy button up at the same time as that ankle. Well done. Give the standing leg a little Elvis twist to release it. We'll do that on the other side. So vacuum pack that right thigh bone. Take the left foot out just onto your toes. Hands together in prayer. Press them together so you activate your upper back muscles. You can feel your core zipping upwards. Chin is in. Little tapping action here. Keep the standing legs slightly bent. Keep breathing out, puffy breaths. That keeps the diaphragm high. Keeps your pelvic floor activated, deep transverse abdominal muscles activated, multifidi muscles at the back activated. Raise your eyebrows. Fab. Take it behind you, slightly leaning forward, arms out to the side. Activate your upper back muscles. Zipping up. Tapping, 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 tapping. Three, 2, 1. Switching bum on. And then these guys, let's go back into the stance. Lifting and turning the toes slightly out, and imagine you are kicking a ball, just keeping it up. Push your hands together, shoulders down though. Keep breathing out. Well done. And 3, 2, 1. Release, Elvis twist. That's the way. Give your pelvis a big swirl. And in the direction. Fantastic. From here, swivel into Trikonasana. So both feet going in one direction. Arms out, stretching forward. Back hip rolling forward. So you can start to feel the stretch through the inner thigh a bit more. So as we roll forward, we transfer here. Hand down wherever it lands. Other shoulder stacking on top of bottom shoulder. Drop down, lift up. A little bit of a twist. Drop down with the elbow, lifting up, maybe a bit more of a twist. Keep the pelvis where it is. That's it. This rotation is super important to keep. Now chin in, crown of the head going in that direction, tail going in that direction. If your shoulder feels okay, hand up. Good. Now breathe into the back of your lungs. Imagine you're spreading that breath through the back of your lungs. So you're sort of undoing any creases there. Now maybe drop your bottom shoulder forward a little bit, and maybe the top arm comes back a little bit. And from here, see if you can look down. So we start to get a really deepened stretch through the neck and those pectoral muscles. You're pushing down and out with your feet, so you're really stable and solid through that rooting sensation through the feet into the ground. Long, smooth, replenishing breath here. And then bend that front knee, push the floor away, pivot to the other side, and then hip rolling forward, stretching out, dropping down. So Trikonasana is one of those poses where we can get lots of strengthening and lengthening, lots of bang for our buck. Great restorative pose, but very active as well. All right, elbow back, drop the shoulder, hand up towards the ceiling. Consciously, it's like you're pulsing the breath through the back of your body. If you notice bits which feel uncomfortable, imagine you're smoothing them out with your breath. And then I'm going to take the bottom shoulder forward a little bit, give myself a bit more rotation, and then look down. So we're getting right here, going to that lung 1 meridian, right out to the fingertips. Fantastic. Bend to the front knee, push the floor away. So we get into the habit of really connecting with the floor in order to come up. Let's do our crocodile crunch, core and balance and cross patterning for the brain. Everything. So starting in your Tadasana, shoulders are down, chest nice and open, weight is in the left leg, squeeze those thigh muscles in, activate, and then foot behind you, starting position, arms open. The crocodile crunch, here we go, slightly bend that standing knee. Exhaling, knee comes up, hands crunch, open. You might float the foot back for extra balancing points. If you're taking your foot back, a little bit of a pulse there to get into that right glute. Breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Keep plugging down through your standing leg heel. Keep imagining that you've got a string from the crown of your head, gently drawing you up towards the ceiling. That's it. 3. Let's do this one slowly. 2. Much harder. And 1. Hold it here. Arms out to the side, shoulders down. Kick your foot out. Smile. And drop it. And give it that Elvis release. That's the way. Let's do the other side. All right, just 10 more minutes if that. Arms up, foot behind, standing legs slightly bent. Press the heel down, plug yourself in, zipping up on the exhalation. Snap, float, snap, float. Little pulse. Gluteus medius. Touching on. Keep the torso as still as possible. Feel those deep core muscles lifting upwards, upwards on that exhalation. So this is fabulous for your brain. Keep your breath anchored, so slow and deliberate. Just do these last couple really slow, half speed. This is tough. There we go. Hold it, hold it, hold it. See if you can take your arms out. See if you can get your foot out. See if you can smile. Raise your eyebrows and drop it. And release it. Ooh, good. Very nice. Let's just drop ourselves down into Malasana to release it all. So toes out, knees dropping down over ankles. Keep your knees wide, your bum is high. Forearms here. Gently pressing outwards. If you can easily reach, elbows here, hands together. Chin is in, shoulders are down, upper back muscles activated, heart open. So organ weight is pushing into your pubic bone and lower belly. You're not here. You're here. Lift it. That's it. Keep sliding those shoulders down, relaxing those inner thighs. So you can relax your anus, soften. Just notice if you're actually holding while you're in this position. You might need to come up a tiny bit. Keep the weight in the heels. Notice if you go onto your toes, if you do this now, if you go onto your toes, how the pelvic floor lifts. Yeah? Drop down to your heels. Okay. Here we go. Knees together, hands wide. Drop the hips to start from one side to the other. Do a bit more core strengthening and then swirling the pelvis around. One direction and the other direction. And then taking the knees a bit wider, toes are tucked, send your pelvis back, stretching the soles of the feet, stretching the pelvic floor between the sitting bones. We've got a figure of 8 of muscle between the sitting bones, just releasing, stretching. Fingertips nice and wide and wrists off the ground. So give yourself a deep stretch here. If you find shoulders are doing the air creep, turn thumbs up, little fingers down. Keep space between ears and shoulders. That's it. Expansion into the back of the lungs. This is your rest time, parasympathetic nervous system, jaw releasing, cheeks softening. Good. Alrighty. Hands nice and flat. We're going to breathe out as we come forward. Breathing out, come forward. Pause here. Shoulders over fingertips. You're zipping up deep core muscles towards your rib cage. Drop back on the inhale. Breathe out as you come forward. Dropping down. So we either stay with this if we're starting to connect pelvic floor and then deep core activation. Weight bearing into wrists through shoulders, although they're not here, they're down here. Otherwise, we are breathing out, coming forward, coming into a plank. For a pause, dropping down again, breathing in, breathing out slowly, pausing in a plank. Only if you've got that pelvic floor activation, then zipping up through the cervix, through to lower belly, and then able to release. Okay. You're doing that one easily. Make it a little bit harder for yourself. So breathing forward, pause here, one foot up, other foot up, dropping back. So always take yourself to that next level. Good. Everybody come back, drop your knees wide, elbows wide, hands together, chest down, hands up towards the ceiling like you're praying. We're getting ourselves a thoracic squeeze here. Shoulders right away from ears so your armpits are facing the ground. Bum is wide. Now release your pelvic floor. So soften around the anus. Breathing out again. Fabulous. And then coming back onto all fours for a balance. Bring your knees together. Chin is in, looking straight down the ground. Shoulders right down away from your ears. So you can see here and here. Core is switched on already. This rib cage drawing in, not dropping down. Take your left foot out behind you. Squeeze that left bum. Actually, let's point toes. Just do a couple of pulses here so you can feel that left glute activated. And then you can come into an extension through the heel. Take your right hand out in front of you, thumb up, little finger down. Now imagine you have a tray of champagne flutes on your back. So you've got to keep your back really still. If this is wobbly, one hand down, and you're just drawing your weight slightly forward, and you're focusing on hip bones facing the ground. If this is fine and the champagne's not going anywhere, challenge your balance. Elbow out, knee out to the side. Keep breathing, little puffy breaths out, looking down at the ground. Extension back. And then we'll float back down again with control. Take that other foot up behind you. Let's just pulse the foot a couple of times, get that right glute waking up. Okay, here we go. Pausing, either weight slightly forward. That's level 1, level 2 here. Sarah, just keep the elbow of your arm here slightly soft, yeah? So eye of the elbow facing the other one. So if you're hypermobile, you've got to be really vigilant with making sure the muscles above the joints and above the joints in particular are activated. And if that's not challenging you enough, destabilize by doing a couple of these pulses. Fabulous. Tuck those toes. Hands wide. Exhale into downward facing dog. This is your rest pose. Shoulders away from your ears. Pressing the heels down one at a time. Give your head a shake. Cheeks, a nice release. Drop the knees across the midline of the body. Hips releasing. Soften that exhalation again. Fabulous. Wonderful. I'm just going to do a little drop forward on an exhalation. Knees merely touching the ground and then back again. Join me if you want to, otherwise stay in down dog. Dropping down and then back. Release those hips. Dropping down into child. Knees together. Tummy relaxing on top of thighs. Put a brick or a pillow underneath your bum, if bums is high here. Stacking fists, or if you easily bring your forehead to the ground, take your hands back behind you. Let your shoulders be really relaxed. You just take 5 breaths, where on the exhalation you sink, you melt as if you are a candle that's been lit for a while, and then the wax is just kind of melting into the ground. With every exhalation, you consciously melt. It's one of those things that the more we practice conscious instant relaxation, the more we can access this state. It's very powerful. Sliding onto your belly, crocodile, hands one on top of the other, toes in, heels out. Rock the pelvis from side to side. Let your belly be really relaxed. Shoulders really relaxed. You're jiggling your bum, massaging your intestines, releasing lower back. Give your jaw a wriggle as well. Make a bit of noise. The long, extended, low vibrational, noisy exhalation can take us into that calm, restorative state, just like that, just like that. Very good. Onto your backs. Glute release, ankle on top of knee. Bring that knee in. Figure 4 stretch, a little massage across the lower back. So when we're doing these held stretches, consciously releasing the cheeks, the jaw, the muscles around the face are softening. Very conscious about softening here, and you'll find that the rest of the body takes the cue and is able to relax into the stretch a bit more. I like to rock across the pelvis in this pose. Again, the nervous system just loves a bit of rocking, doesn't it? We always feel comforted by rocking. Lovely. Other side. Ankle on top of knee, a little bit of rocking. And in this pose, I also take my thumb, so this is my left foot, my right thumb, just into that point below the ball of the foot, so where the pink bit is, where it intersects the arch of the foot, where the white bit is, right in the center. You press in there as you're rocking. It's a reflexology point, and it just helps to relax the nervous system as well. It just helps to calm everything down. Good as gold. Inner thigh muscles, baby pose. So grab your calves, grab your ankles, maybe even fingertips on the inside of your feet if you can reach, just not here. So we're resting the upper back into the ground. Imagine you're melting your upper back muscles into the ground. Your shoulders are sliding downwards into the ground. You want to have heavy arm bones dropping into the back of the sockets. Add a rock if that's available to you as well. Sigh these next few breaths out. Reset. Just how smooth can you make that area between your eyebrows? How smooth can you make your forehead? Good. Give everything a jiggle, arms and legs. Give it a jiggle, 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 jiggle. Tuck yourself into a little ball. Rock and roll up your spine. Resetting, rebooting the computer. Whee, up we go. It's quite fun with ankle weights on to do that, sliding up and down with your shoulders. Placing head on top of neck, chin in. There we go. Hands out the side, turn the palms to face the ceiling. Deep breath in. Hold the top of the breath. Let it go. You are set. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.